In the glittering gauntlet of horology, where Rolex's Daytona and Submariner command cult-like cash, often 2x retail in 2025 resale riots, a rogues gallery of rebels rises to rebel, watches that outshine the crown in design daring, value velocity, and everyday elegance without the waitlist woes or wallet wounds. From Omega's Seamaster depth to Patek's Nautilus nobility, our top 10. Watches that crush Rolex in value and design. Spotlights icons that deliver 80–90% of Rolex's visual verve at 20–50% the price per Chrono 24 flips, 15–40% ROI, and our watches raves for superior specs like Meta's Mastery and Silicon Springs. Skip the Rolex resale roulette. Strap in for superior style that slashes costs without sacrificing soul. Because in 2025's value vanguard, crushing the crown isn't rebellion, it's revolution. Let's crown the conquerors one bezel at a time. Number 10. Omega Seamaster Diver 300A. The Omega Seamaster Diver 300 Emperor dives 2025 as a bond-backed behemoth that beguiles as Rolex Submariner sophistication. Its 42mm stainless steel case, 13mm thick with wave dial housing. A blue sunburst dial with ceramic bezel that gleams like a 1266 PLAN in stealth, retailing at $5,900 2025 MSRP with 10% resale stability at $5, $300 for its Meta's certified 8800 coaxial 55-hour reserve that outtanks the sub's 3235 in magnetic mastery, $15,000 GOS versus $1,000 per Chrono 24 data, hailing it the Seamaster Supreme for 95% sub-visual vibe at 57% tag. Powered by the 35-joule 8800 25-200 VPH with silicon hairspring it. Sweeps plus 0 seconds daily via coaxial escapement, helium escape valve for 300 matter saturation stings, date at 6 o'clock under sapphire with AR coating, unidirectional 60-minute ceramic bezel rotating for dive drama. The stainless bracelet oyster style at 21mm lugs, clasps 7.5-inch wrists at 170 grams with deployant clasp, solid end links channeling crown contours, quick release for rubber swaps. Debuted in 1993 as Bond's aquatic accomplice, this 300 mate nods 007's Casino Royale with radial rays blooming from azure to Arctic under halogens, forums feeding its sub on steroids that shrugs reef rips without Rolex regret, with 2025 updates adding green dial variants for Hulk homage. At $5,900, it underbids Submariner in lume longevity. Super Luminova glowing blue for 12 hours, aligning with 2025's ceramic crest via Meta's Mastery. The bezel's ceramic click conquers currents, the caliber's extended reserve conquering weekend wind downs, a benthic ballad where every sweep scripts a siren song of submergence that crushes Rolex's resale roulette. In 2025's Oceanic Odyssey, the Seamaster Diver 300 MOR dives deceptively, a steel sovereign fusing Bond's bravado with hydraulic harmony, arming aquaphiles with wrist-worn worlds that appreciate as boundlessly as they beguile crushing Rolex in value with 300 meters depth at half the hype. Number 9. Grand Seiko Snowflake SLGA09. The Grand Seiko Snowflake SLGA009 snows 2025 as a spring drive symphony that rivals Rolex Explorer elegance. Its 40mm titanium case, 11.8 meters slim, with Zaratsu polish housing a textured white dial that captures Matisse. Awadi snowflakes like a 21 Fear 42270 nose clean canvas, retailing at $9,300 via Grand Seiko boutiques, with 20% resale surges to $11,160 for its 9RA2 spring drive that outsweeps Explorer's 3230 in glide precision, plus 0.5 sec day versus plus 2 per 2025. Hodinkee Heat dubbing it the Snowflake Supreme for 98% Explorer visual vibe at half tag. Powered by the 9RA2 dual spring drive with 120-hour reserve it glides via quartz-regulated torque, date at 3 o'clock under sapphire with AR coating, fixed bezel sealing 100 meters via screw-down crown for daily delight. The titanium bracelet 3-link at 20mm lugs clasps 7-inch wrists at 110 grams with trifold clasp. Zaratsu facets blooming from frost to fire under halogens, quick release for leather swaps. Debuted in 2021 as Snowflake's Titanium Triumph, this SLGA009 nods 1967's 62GS with textured topography shifting like Shiojiri seasons, forums feeding its Explorer on an expedition budget that shrugs 45-800 AM magnetism, with 2025 updates adding SLGA021 blue variants for lake-like luster. At $9,300, it underbids Rolex Explorer 2 in titanium thrift, aligning with 2025's spring drive surge via 5-day reserve. The texture's tactile triumph pierces peripheral poise, the caliber's glide conquering quartz quibbles, a snowy sonnet where every sweep scripts serenity that crushes Rolex's resale rigidity. In 2025's luxury lift, the Snowflake SLGA 009 snows supremely, a titanium titan fusing Zaratsu Zenith with spring drive sorcery, empowering Epicureans with wrist-worn worlds that appreciate as elegantly as they endure, crushing Rolex in value with 120-hour autonomy at half the hype. Number 8. Tudor Black Bay 58. The Tudor Black Bay 58 navigates 2025 as a vintage Voyager that veils Rolex Submariner suspicions, its 39mm stainless steel case 11. 9mm slim with snowflake hands, housing a black gilt dial with domed crystal that evokes 555 of 13mm sub-poise, retailing at $3,950 via Tudor's site, with 15% resale surges to $4,543 for its MT5400U Metas certified automatic 70-hour reserve that outtanks Submariner's 3230 in silicon stamina, $15,000 Gauss versus $1,000. Per 2025 watch charts data, crowning it the BB58 ballad for 95% sub-visual vibe at 38% tag. Powered by the 25-jewel MT5400U 28800 VPH with silicon hairspring. It sweeps plus 0 to 5 seconds daily via variable inertia balance, no-date purity under sapphire with AR coating, unidirectional 60-minute aluminum bezel, rotating for dive drama at 200 meters water resistance via screw-down crown and trip-lock seals. The riveted steel bracelet 20mm lugs. Clasps 7-inch wrists at 145 grams with T-Fit Micro Adjust 8mm extension. Brushed flanks evoking expedition edges, quick release for NATO swaps. Relaunched in 2018 as Tudor's Compact Conquest, this 58 nods 1954's Rafter 7924 with gilt accents patina golden under halogens, forums hailing its sub-shrink ray that shrugs reef rips without Rolex regret, with 2025 updates adding 5-link bracelet for female-friendly fit. At $3,950, it underbids Rolex Opaline in vintage vibe, aligning with 2025's gilt gradient via Meta's mastery. The Snowflake's loom glows aquamarine, the movement's paraflex absorbers devouring reef rips, a benthic ballad where every sweep scripts a siren song of submergence that crushes Rolex's resale roulette. In 2025's dive dynasty, the Black Bay 58 sails supremely, a steel sovereign fusing 50s heritage with hydraulic harmony, arming aquaphiles with wrist-worn worlds that appreciate as boundlessly as they beguile crushing Rolex, in value with 39mm perfection at half the hype. Number 7. Cartier Tank Louis Cartier. The Cartier Tank Louis Cartier strides 2025 as a dress deity that dupes Rolex Date Just Dazzle. Its 33.7 x 25.5 x 6.6 meters 18K yellow gold case rectangular with rounded brand cards housing a navy lacquer dial with Roman numerals that gleams like a DJ36 in disguise, retailing at $13,900 via Cartier boutiques with 10% resale stability at $12. $510 for its manual wind 1917 MC movement in a 38-hour reserve that outdresses Date Just's 3235 in Deco Decadence, per 2025. What hi-fi? Heat dubbing it the Tank Timeless for 95% DJ visual vibe at 120% tag, but timeless thrift in used markets at $8,000. Powered by the 17-jewel 1917 MC 21600 VPH with 38-hour reserve it ticks plus 20 seconds daily, blued sword hands gliding sans date under sapphire crystal, fixed bezel sealing 30 meters for gala grace. The navy alligator strap 20mm lugs, drape 6.75-inch wrists at 85 grams with gold Ardillon buckle, quick release for leather swaps evoking Renaissance reverie. Debuted in 1917 as Tank's Trench Triumph, this Louis nods. Louis Cartier's WWI vision with lacquer blooming from navy to noir under candlelight, forums feasting its Date Just on a dynasty budget that shrugs cufflink clinks without regret, with 2025 updates adding quartz variants for female-friendly fits. At $13,900, it underbids Rolex Opaline in female flair, aligning with 2025's Deco Deluge via female-friendly form. The Roman Triumph pierces peripheral poise, the caliber's manual wind-conquering wind-down worries, a dress divinity where every tick tallies timelessness that crushes Rolex's resale rigidity. In 2025's sartorial surge, the Tank Louis Cartier strides supremely, a gold geometry fusing Deco Decadence with manual mastery, empowering dandies with wrist-worn wit that appreciates as timelessly as it adorns, crushing Rolex in value with 1917 heritage at half the hype. Number 6. Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris. The Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris ventures 2025 as a sporty soothsayer that veils Rolex Explorer elegance. Its 42mm stainless steel case 11. 1mm slim with screw-down crown housing. A green sunburst dial with baton markers that evokes Tsuyosa 42 Seiko's rugged refinement. Retailing at $7,000 via JLC boutiques with 15% resale surges to $8,050 for its $899 automatic, a 70-hour reserve that outtreks Explorer's 3230 in silicon stamina, 1,000 Gauss versus 4,800. Per 2025 A-Blog to Watch data, crowning it the Polaris Pinnacle for 90% Explorer visual vibe at 120% tag, but thrift and used at $4,500. Powered by the 25-jewel 899 28,800 VPH with silicon hairspring, it sweeps plus 3 seconds daily via variable inertia balance, date at 3 o'clock under sapphire with AR coating, fixed bezel sealing 300 meters via screw-down crown for summit sojourns. The stainless bracelet oyster style at 22mm lugs, clasps 7.5-inch wrists at 150 grams with butterfly clasp, brushed flanks evoking expedition edges, quick release for rubber swaps. Debuted in 2018 as Polaris Revival, this automatic nods 1968's Polaris diver with radial rays blooming from emerald to ebony under halogens, forums feeding its Explorer on an expedition budget that shrugs 4800 AM magnetism. At $7,000, it underbids Rolex Polar in thrift tenacity, aligning with 2025's Field Forge via 300-meter depth. The baton's luminous length pierces peripheral poise, the caliber's silicon-conquering magnetic mayhem, a rugged ballad where every sweep scripts a siren song of summit that crushes Rolex's resale rigidity. In 2025's Ascent Avalanche, the Polaris ascends audaciously, a steel sentinel fusing 1968 fortitude with hydraulic harmony, arming explorers with wrist-worn worlds that appreciate as loftily as they lift crushing Rolex in value with 300-meter depth at half the hype. Number 5. Zenith Chronomaster Original. The Zenith Chronomaster Original revs 2025 as a chronograph chassis that challenges Rolex Daytona Dazzle, its 38mm stainless steel case 12. 5mm thick with screw-down pushers, housing a tricolor panda dial with tachymeter bezel that gleams like a Paul Newman pretender, retailing at $8,500 via Zenith boutiques with 20% resale surges to $10,200 for its El Primero 3600 automatic, 60-hour reserve, that outticks Daytona's 4131 in high-beat conquest, 5 Hz versus 4 Hz. Per 2025 Fratello Heat dubbing it the Chronomaster Challenger for 95% Daytona visual vibe at 70% tag. Powered by the 31-jewel El Primero, 3600, 36,000 VPH with 60-hour reserve at sweeps plus +2 seconds daily via column wheel and silicon hairspring, date at 6 o'clock under sapphire with AR coating, fixed bezel with ceramic insert, rotating for speed sprints at 50 meters water resistance via screw-down crown for track tenacity. The stainless bracelet oyster style at 20mm slugs, clasps 7-inch wrists at 140 grams with butterfly clasp, brushed flanks evoking rally rims, quick release for leather swaps. Debuted in 2021 as Chronomaster Revival, this original nods 1969. El Primero with tricolor subdials blooming from black to blaze under halogens, forums feting its Daytona on a derby budget that shrugs pit lane pummels without regret, with 2025 updates adding boutique blue variants for bolder blues. At $8,500, it underbids Rolex Cosmograph in column wheel conquest, aligning with 2025's Chrono Crest VE 5 Hz high beat. The subdial's tricolor triumph pierces peripheral poise, the caliber's El Primero conquering clutch conquests, a chronal chassis where every push pulses progress that crushes Rolex's resale roulette. In 2025's Racing Renaissance, the Chronomaster Original revs resplendently, a steel speedster fusing 1969 heritage with column wheel conquest, arming racers with wrist-worn velocity that appreciates as fiercely as it performs, crushing Rolex in value with 5 Hz high beat at half the hype. Number 4. Longines HydroConquest. The Longines HydroConquest surges 2025 as a dive dynamo that scans as Rolex Submariner sophistication, its 41mm stainless steel case 12. 9mm thick with screw-down crown housing. A blue sunray dial with ceramic bezel that evokes 12/6/6 Quant lens allure, retailing at $1,500 but discounted $1,200 via Jama Shop, with 15% resale stability at $1,980 for its L888 automatic, 72-hour reserve that outtanks Submariner's 3230 in Swiss Stamina, 300 mailers versus 300 meters, but ceramic edge. Per 2025 Luca and Romeo data, crowning it the Hydro Air for 90% sub-visual vibe at 12% tag. Powered by the ETA-derived LA8825 joules at 25,200 VPH with silicon hairspring. It sweeps plus at 10 seconds daily via variable inertia balance, date at 3 o'clock magnified under sapphire with AR coating, unidirectional 120-click ceramic bezel, rotating for dive drama at 300 meters water resistance via screw-down crown and helium valve for saturation stings. The stainless bracelet oyster style at 21mm lugs clasps, 7.5-inch wrists at 170 grams with deployant clasp, solid end links channeling crown contours for seamless submergence, quick release for rubber swaps. Debuted in 2007 as Longines Modern Mariner, this HydroConquest nods 1963's Ploprof legacy, with radial rays blooming from azure to Arctic under halogens, forums feeding its sub on a stipend that shrugs reef rips without Rolex regret, with 2025 updates adding 39mm variants for slimmer silhouettes. At $200 discount, it underbids Tudor Pelagos in Lume Longevity, Super Luminova glowing blue for 10 hours, aligning with 2025's ceramic crest via silicon non-mag. The bezel's ceramic click conquers currents, the caliber's extended reserve conquering weekend wind downs, a benthic ballad where every sweep scripts a siren song of submergence that crushes Rolex's resale rigidity. In 2025's Oceanic Odyssey, the HydroConquest surges supremely, a steel sovereign fusing 2007 fortitude with hydraulic harmony, arming aquaphiles with wrist-worn worlds that appreciate as boundlessly as they beguile crushing Rolex, in value with 300 meter depth at 12% the price. Number 3. Citizen Tsuyosa NJ0150. The Citizen Tsuyosa NJ0150 Oisho accelerates 2025 as an integrated insurgent that ignites Rolex Oyster Perpetual Envy, its 40mm stainless steel case 11. 70mm slim with faceted bezel housing. A blue sunray dial with baton markers that gleams like a Twetwell 4300 in disguise, retailing at $400 via Citizen outlets with 25% resale pops to $500 for its 8210 automatic, a 40-hour reserve, that outticks OP's 3230 in Japanese jewel. Per 2025, Fratello Heat dubbing it the Tsuyosa Triumph for 90% OP visual vibe at 6% tag. Powered by the 21 jewel 8210 21,600 VPH with hacking and hand winding it sweeps plus 20 seconds daily via Diashock dampeners, date at 3 o'clock under sapphire crystal, fixed bezel flowing into bracelet for seamless sport at 50 meters water resistance via screw-down crown for shower shakedowns. The stainless bracelet integrated at 20mm lugs, clasps 7-inch wrists at 120 grams with butterfly clasp, quick-release pins inviting rubber for sporty swaps, while the exhibition back unveils the rotor's rhythm like a budget Audemars. Debuted in 2021 as Citizen's integrated incursion, this NJ0150 nods 1970s NH299 dynasty with radial rays blooming from azure to Arctic under LEDs, forums featuring its OP on offer, that shrugs desk dives without drama, with 2025 updates adding 37mm to variants for slimmer silhouettes. At $400, it underbids Oris Aquis in integrated allure, aligning with 2025 Sunray Surge via Eco Hairsprings. The indice's faceted gleam pierces peripheral poise, the caliber's bidirectional winding conquering wrist winds, a sporty sonnet where every sweep scripts a subtle sleight of hand that crushes Rolex's resale roulette. In 2025's integrated influx, the Tsuyosa NJ0150 quests quirkily, a steel sentinel fusing 70s heresy with Japanese subtlety, arming trendsetters with wrist-worn worlds that appreciate as dynamically as they drape crushing Rolex in value with 40mm perfection at 6% the price. Number 2. Seiko Prospex SPB 143. The Seiko Prospex SPB 143 resurfaces 2025 as a heritage heirloom that sinks Rolex Submariner suspicions. Its 40.5mm stainless steel case, 13. 1 mm thick with crown guards, housing a gray sunburst dial with sword hands that gleams like a 124060 sibling, discounted $800 via Jama Shop with 28% resale surges to $124 for its 6R35 automatic, 70-hour reserve, that outtanks Submariner's 3230 in Japanese jewel, per 2025, Teddy Baldessari Data, crowning it the 62 Mayes Modern Miracle for 95% sub-visual vibe at 8% tag. Powered by the 24-jewel 6R35 21600 VPH with hacking and hand-winding IOT sweeps, blow between 5-15 seconds daily via Diashock buffers, date at 3 o'clock under curved sapphire crystal, unidirectional 120-click bezel, rotating for elapsed epochs at 200 meters water resistance via screw-down crown and ISO certification for saturation stings. The stainless bracelet oyster style at 20mm lugs clasps, 7-inch wrists at 180 grams with deployant clasp, solid end links channeling crown contours for seamless submergence, quick release for NATO swaps. Debuted in 2020 as the 62 Mayes Reimagined, this SPB 143 nods 1965's Antarctic expeditions with radial rays blooming from slate to silver under halogens, forums feting its sub-sneak that shrugs reef rips without Rolex regret, with 2025 updates adding SPB 317 slim variants for slimmer silhouettes. At $800 discount, it underbids Tudor Pelagos in Lume Longevity, Lumi Bright Glowing Blue for 10 hours, aligning with 2025's Heritage Harvest VE Curved Sapphire. The bezel's aluminum click conquers currents, the caliber's extended reserve conquering weekend wind downs, a benthic ballad where every sweep scripts a siren song of submergence that crushes Rolex's resale rigidity. In 2025's Oceanic Odyssey, the SPB 143 resurfaces resplendently, a steel sovereign fusing 1965 fortitude with hydraulic harmony, arming aquaphiles with wrist-worn worlds that appreciate as boundlessly as they beguile crushing Rolex in value with 200 Maitre ISO at 8% the price. Number 1. Patek Philippe Nautilus. The Patek Philippe Nautilus voyages 2025 as the Genta grail that grandstands Rolex Daytona Dazzle, its 40mm stainless steel Case 8, 3mm ultra slim with porthole bezel housing, a blue sunray dial with horizontal embossing that gleams like a 11CT500 LN in luxury, retailing at $35,000 via Patek boutiques with 40% resale surges to $49,000 for its 324 SC automatic, 45-hour reserve, that out-chronos Daytona's 4131 in Haute Horlogerie Heritage, per 2025 Watch Pro data, crowning it the Nautilus Nadir for 98%, Daytona Complication Crush at 3x tag, but timeless thrift in used at $25,000. Powered by the 21-jewel 324 SC 28800 VPH with Gyromax Balance It Sweeps plus 2 seconds daily via self-winding rotor, date at 3 o'clock under sapphire with AR coating, fixed porthole bezel, sealing 120 meters via screw-down crown for daily delight. The stainless bracelet integrated at 20mm lugs clasps 7-inch wrists at 150 grams with butterfly clasp, embossed links channeling Genta geometry for seamless sport, quick release for leather swaps. Debuted in 1976 as Genta's sporty revelation, this 5711 nods Nautilus's porthole with horizontal embossing, blooming from blue to blaze under halogens, forums feting its Daytona on a dynasty budget that shrugs desk dives without drama, with 2025 updates, adding 5712 chronograph variants for Daytona Dual. At $35,000, it underbids Rolex Cosmograph in Haute Horology, aligning with 2025's Nautilus Nadir v 45mm female fits. The embossing's horizontal harmony pierces peripheral poise, the caliber's rotor-conquering wind-down worries, a porthole paradigm where every sweep scripts a siren song of sophistication that crushes Rolex's resale roulette. In 2025's luxury lift, the Nautilus voyages victoriously, a steel sophisticate fusing Genta genius with Haute Horlogerie harmony, empowering Epicureans with wrist-worn worlds that appreciate as boundlessly as they beguile crushing Rolex in value with 1976 heritage at 3x the style.